Inside of DPro, the show control window is where we're going to spend the bulk of our time when we're in show mode, when we're playing back our lights during a show. So I'm going to close my programmer by clicking the programmer. I always like to close extra windows that I'm not using just to keep my workspace clean. And go here to show control. Now you can see I've got a number of things here. I've got a bunch of buttons here at the top, lists here on the side, and various snapshots and timelines here on the bottom. I'm going to simply go ahead, grab my first cue list, and just like everything else in DPro, it's really easy. Just click and drag, and we'll assign it to a button here. If I want, I can also grab the same cue list, and I can put it on a fader right here, just by clicking and dragging. Now, I can put cue lists, or I can put single cues on fader as well. So let's put all three of these cues that I already recorded onto some buttons in a row here. You can see the name transfers as well, and it's really easy to read. Once I've got my cues and my cue list dragged into show control as I want, I can show you the difference between some faders and buttons, and also the difference between cue lists and single cues. So let's take, for example, cue list versus single cues. This test list is a cue list. When I select it, it's going to play through those cues in the order and timings that I built it in on the cue list window. I can see it's just going ahead here, it's moving the lights around, it's changing the colors, etc. between the couple cues. I can turn that off by just clicking it again. Whereas my green blue at stage and my red white on stage, I can see here, simply get activated and deactivated as I select them and deselect them. But the look stays on stage as they're selected and it doesn't change. Same with my effects. Perfect. The fader, on the other hand, I'll actually bring this effects onto that fader just to show you. Toggle that test list. Perfect. Now my fader here, as I can show you, brings the intensity up and down. So I can go ahead, just bring it up a little, and I just get a little intensity on this cue list, or I can bring it up all the way and get full intensity, which is what happens when I press the button if I were playing it from the button. Perfect. Show control is also available as a different program. Let me show you how that works. Just going to go ahead and close out here. It's going to stop all my active cues and cue lists, and open up the DPro Player program. Once I've got the DPro Player program brought up, you can see it looks just like the show control window, but there's no programming tools available. So this is really handy in a lot of settings, restaurants, churches, even with a band. You may have pre-programmed something and then you're going to hand it off to somebody and have them run the show. And you don't want them to accidentally have access to programming tools because they could really get into some trouble if they don't know what they're doing. But you can give them a window like this, tell them, hey, press these buttons and move these faders up and down, and you're going to get different things inside the show. And you show them that, and then that's all they need access to. And so the DPro Player is a really great tool to be able to hand off control to somebody else and be able to have that peace in mind that they're not going to mess things up in your programming. Now, in our next video, I'm going to show you how to take faders and buttons in the show control window and assign them to MIDI controllers so that you're able to have hands-on control inside of DPro. I hope you really enjoyed these basics of DPro videos that are here available on YouTube. Be sure to check out the full post on DPro over at LearnStageLighting.com and sign up for our DPro mailing list, where I'm going to be sending you guys some more information about DPro and how to make the most out of it to help you create amazing lighting. I'll see you guys on the DPro post and via email.